Hello artist friends, let's draw Hokusai's Great Wave. For this portion of the lesson, you're going to need your white art paper, a pencil to draw with. You might need an eraser. You can use your pencil, or look, mine's so dirty, but I love this eraser, this white eraser. And you're going to need a Sharpie. So for right now, I'm just going to put the Sharpie and the eraser to the side, and we're just going to use a pencil. What we're going to do is we don't want to draw everything with a pencil because it kind of takes a long time. But I really just want to get just the outlines of where the waves are, where the boats are, and especially right here. So then we're going to draw all those little awesome claw-like wave fingers with our Sharpie. So we're not going to use our pencil too much, but we're just going to kind of get started. Okay, so this is the best part, and it is called the Great Wave, so we want to make sure that we get this. So notice where it starts. Whenever I'm drawing a picture, I look at my inspiration and I just like to kind of decide where things start and where they end. So you'll notice that this is about half in the paper. So we're just a little bit above half. And then the wave comes over even a little bit more past half. So I just kind of like to give myself an idea. Sometimes I make a little mark, like I'm going to start here and I want my wave to end, you know, here's halfway, so I want my wave to end like right here. So I'm just going to do those two little dots, and it just kind of helps me. And if you go past them, it's okay, but I like to just kind of have that. Look at that little watercolor part in the middle. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to start here, and we're just going to curve up, and then we're just going to curve down like that. And that's all we need for a minute. Okay, we've got another the wave kind of comes out, so I'm just going to draw another little curve right there. And then let's draw this kind of mountainy peak that goes across. So notice we come here, we go up, and then we go kind of down. So we're going to come right here and kind of make that little mountain peak. See how it does those little curve lines? And then kind of up and across our paper. And now look at this peak right here. That's where the edge of that wave goes up. And I'm not going to draw all the way up because we've got our little fingers. Does that make sense? Then we're going to have like our little claw marks, okay? Now I just want to draw just a little bit where these claws kind of come out, claws. I mean, we know it's water, but I love that it's kind of like that. So I'm just going to do a really light line like this. Just kind of to remind myself that I have claw-like shapes. And let's just do that here. Let's just kind of draw where we want that white cap. Okay, that's going to be awesome. All right, now this in the background, it almost looks like another wave, but it's actually Mount Fuji. So remember when we talked about the painting, Hokusai loved Mount Fuji. It's in so many of his pieces of work, his wood prints, his block prints, his watercolors. So we want to draw that, and it's just that nice little triangle shape like that. Okay, now we have a couple more waves coming from right here. So let's draw up and kind of off the page like that. And then let's draw where we have all these white caps. So I just want to see where they are. And so I'm going to start right here. And I'm just going to kind of do some lines. It doesn't matter, like just do a couple lines just so you know. And then let's just draw one more mountain of wave off like that. So we kind of have a lot of swirling lines, but it'll all make sense in a minute. Let's draw a couple of these boats. Look how easy they are. We just have a curved front and then just kind of a long straight line. So wherever you want to fit some of these boats, you can. You don't have to draw all three. You can draw as many as you want, 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, so I'm going to come up and I'm going to actually come right back down like that. And then I'm going to make this line quite a bit straighter. And I've got another kind of straight line like that. And then all these fishermen are kind of bowed down over their oars because it's such a strong wave. So all I'm going to do is draw some circles like this. And then I'm just going to draw a curve to their body so it looks like they're just bent over. Now this one's farther away, so you can draw that a little bit smaller. And you can fit it wherever you want. And I'm just going to draw their heads, and I'm just going to draw their curved bodies. There's like 2 more guys right here. Okay, I don't even know if I'm going to do that one. All right, that's all the pencil we want to do. I want you to do everything else with a Sharpie, okay? So put that down and pick up your Sharpie. And before we draw the top lines, we're gonna draw these awesome claws. So we're gonna come in here, and basically they are just curves. So out, down, up, and notice that my line is trying to kind of follow my pencil line. And so you kind of bring them out like that, like longer, and down until you kind of reach right there. And then maybe I want to do like there's kind of another layer of claws here. So I'm going to kind of come out. Okay, now we want to show where the white caps are to the water. So I definitely want to come along here and go across this line. I'm drawing mine kind of fast, but you're welcome to just pause and slow down. So I just kind of want to show you how to do this, but you can take as much time as you want. So then right here, did you notice that we're gonna kind of come around, so we kind of have a straight line, and then as soon as we get to the white caps again, we can start those fabulous claw-like white caps. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to kind of stick to my pencil lines of where we knew that we wanted white caps. And I'm just kind of following those lines all the way. Now, he doesn't just have a bottom line, but he has kind of some lines up here too. So when you have a huge white cap, even though it's white, whenever there's white, there's also a shadow. So we want to have a couple more claws, and you'll notice that he has this light blue in the white, and that's to show that depth, that shadow. So there we've got a bunch of really awesome claw-like white caps. And now this one, look at that top part. There's not any claws. So this part I'm just gonna trace all the way off my paper. And I'm gonna trace this one, and I'm gonna skip over that boat because I don't want to draw a black line. And if you do a black line, you just make it into part of the boat. But if you can remember to not do that. And let's get this line right here. We've got that curved line. And Mount Fuji has a white cap. It's very tall and high, and it's covered with snow a lot of times. So we want to do kind of this jaggedy line. So it's different than our claw-like white caps. And then we just want to draw until we hit the wave like that. Okay. And then down here, we've got this straight line. So let's do this straight line. I know it might be a little confusing. And if you draw a straight line different than mine, or maybe you even have an extra wave, it's totally fine. You can do it how you want because you're the artist of your paper. What we're doing is we're looking at Hokusai, or any of these, we're looking at the great artists, and we're just trying to learn from them. But it doesn't mean we have to copy them exactly. We're learning things like the next time you draw a wave, you might remember how Hokusai did this and how he used different colors. And so that's what we're trying to teach you, not necessarily making it an exact perfect drawing. So if yours is different than mine and Hokusai's, you're doing it right, because you are the artist of your paper. So down here, again, we have kind of the fingers, the finger wave, the claws. So we're going to take that line right there, and we're gonna make some claws, however you wanna do that. Okay, and we want to add just a couple more in here because we want an area to add that shadow to the wave and add that dimension. So we're gonna put a couple more claws in there. Okay, now, oh, look at this. I missed this top part. Did you miss this top part too? Let's do that. Okay, let's just trace our boats so that we know where they are. Okay, and then you might want to do your people before you do that back edge. So remember, we just did circles, and then their bodies are just curved. And then we can take that line like that. So again, let's do that here. Man, wouldn't it be awful to be out in a storm like this, especially in a fishing boat that doesn't have any place that you can hide and be safe. Now right here, there's just some texture that's just showing like a little bit of the boat. It looks like there's some rough material maybe at the front. And so if you want to just add a little bit of lines to just show, notice how I did these lines this way. That's just the perspective that we're seeing in the boat, and just a couple little dots. It just adds, it's just nice because it just adds a little bit of texture to our boats. So this one's so far away that I'm just gonna barely just do a couple little things like that. Okay, the last thing we want to do with our Sharpie is look at these beautiful U-shaped curves and lines. And so when we paint, I want it to be really obvious where to put your dark blue, your light blue, and leave the paper white. So I want to draw those waves. So the first one we're gonna do, notice that the white is at the top, then the light blue, then the dark blue. So the first time we draw this, and look at that, it's just curves. And watch as I get closer, see how they stretch out that way? See if you can do that. Okay, so I did those curves, and then I'm gonna go next to them, and I'm just gonna do kind of another little curve like that. Okay, so then we'll leave that part white, we'll paint that light blue, and we'll paint this dark blue. So try again down here. So we want to do one that's kind of close, and look, I'm stretching it out that way as it goes that way. Isn't that fun? Okay, and then just, sorry, straighten that paper out. Just do another close to that. And in here, on both of these waves, I just want to draw some stripes. And that's just going to help me remember as I color, and they're curved, okay? Because the water's curving up. That's just going to help me to remember to use a couple different colors. So I want to do the same thing here. I just want to give myself, and watch, every time I draw one, I'm going to stop. I don't want to draw through my white. And if you do, it's okay. You can just make it into another little claw. So whenever you use a Sharpie, don't be worried. You can always make it into a line right next to it. And these start curving this way. Okay, all right, I think that our drawing portion is done. Before we finish on Let's Color, you can just take an eraser and just erase some of these lines, because we want that to just be nice and white. You don't have to necessarily erase the lines where the dark blue water is, but I just want you to erase your lines where your white is, because when we do watercolor, there isn't a white paint. So we have to think ahead of time as the artist and our composition. We have to leave the white paper white. So that's white right there too, so I just want to erase that out. But everything else, all the other little lines, we'll be using color, so we don't have to worry about that as much. And that completes our Let's Draw Hokusai. And in our next session, we will paint Hokusai using watercolor washes and some different watercolor techniques. And I'm so excited to finish this Hokusai project with you. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.